We are on our way to Pearl Harbor this morning. We're in the lobby of the Prince Waikiki right now where we're staying. It's a beautiful hotel here. And we plan to show you a little more of it before this journey is over.
I know, we have hardly even spent any time here because we've been out and about battling rain, thunder, lightning, the whole 9 yards. It's been crazy, but it looks like a little sun is peeking through today, so maybe, just like yesterday, we'll have a couple hours of some nice weather that we can enjoy and share with you guys. Matthew, are you excited about Pearl Harbor?
I am.
Excellent, excellent. All right, guys, so we're going to Pearl Harbor. We're going to see the amazing sights. We're going to pay our respects. It's going to be a great adventure, so come on with us and let's go check it out.
So yesterday we came to Litter's Bakery. All I wanted was the Portuguese sausage little sandwich that they have here, and they were sold out already. So we came back a little earlier today, and guess what? We got the last two. So I'm excited. It's going to be the perfect breakfast before we head out to Pearl Harbor for the day.
All right, what's up, everybody? The Sharonatsea travel crew has made it here to Pearl Harbor. Behind us here is the entrance, and we're going to go in there, see about some tickets, see if we can't get over to that memorial, and get the day started. We're super excited to be here. Thanks for joining us. As we enter the park, number one, no bags, guys. Don't bring your backpacks or anything like that. We are coming in here. The only thing that we're carrying is anything in our pockets.
They do have lockers.
They do have lockers here if you need to put a bag in there for the meantime. And Sharon's got a little rain jacket that she's wearing, and she's got a couple things in the pocket of that, and that's really all. Otherwise, anything smaller than a tiny little hand purse is not going to be allowed. So pay attention to that. And now we're going to go over, talk to one of the rangers, and see what kind of time frame we have to get over there to see the memorial. Now, if you come here and you're a little early and you have to wait a little bit, there are different museums and things you can see right in this area before you go. They do have the virtual reality area where a bunch of people are sitting with the VR headsets on, so that's kind of cool. They even show a little video. They show it outside because they can't do it indoors because of the virus. They need to have people have their distance. So that's what's going on. All right, so we're sitting here waiting to see if we're going to get onto the little boat that takes us over to the USS Arizona Memorial. Okay, so we're here. We're on standby. Hopefully we're going to get in a few minutes. The ranger was super nice. Said, give me your name and I'll call you if I can. And that's what we're waiting on. So if they call James, then we are in business to go see the USS Arizona Memorial. Sharon, are you pumped?
I am. I'm excited.
That's cool, cool. Matthew, are you stoked?
I'm stoked. I'm excited.
Okay, well, we're going to see this, pay our respects, and I got a feeling we're going to be blown away by this moment. So we'll show you.
On behalf of the United States Navy, we'd like to thank you for coming out. We'll be getting underway shortly.
All right, so we're going to go ahead into the USS Arizona Memorial. I'm not going to do any verbal recording in there. We'll just show you guys what it's all about. Kind of a goosebump moment right now. Wow, unbelievable. Matthew, what do you think? Intense?
It was a very interesting experience.
A little bit moving to think of all the lives that were lost in there. I mean, unbelievable. All right, we'll talk more about it, but I mean, just a lot to take in, you know what I mean? All right, so we're gonna head back now and go check out the rest of all the memorials here at Pearl Harbor. Learn a lot more about what happened that day.
After learning about the attack on Pearl Harbor on my own and in school, just going there in person was a very surreal experience, very moving and emotional. And on the ride back, I was reflecting on what I had just seen. Afterwards, we went to the Walk of Remembrance, where we learned some more about the USS Arizona. We also learned about the Japanese plan to attack Pearl Harbor and some backstory on that. We also learned about the vessels that were present that day and where they were stationed in Pearl Harbor. We also learned about the first and second waves of attack. And we also learned about how they honored the dead afterwards. And overall, going there was an amazing experience.
Okay, let me step away from people and take this mask down a minute and get a breath of fresh air. So meanwhile, the weather has compromised, or the weather has worked out well for us. The sun's been out the whole time. We are sweating. I mean, sweat. It is warm out here. It's probably a solid 80-something degrees with a solid 80% humidity. So far, the day's been amazing. It's been a great family trip, and I'm looking forward to a couple more days of it. Glad you could join us. Okay, after a pretty warm 15-minute wait for the shuttle, it's here to take us over to Ford Island to go check out the USS Missouri. Missouri? Missouri. I'm going with Missouri.
And a banana. We're gonna get on the bus. We are. Hopefully we'll get on the bus.
Missouri?
Missouri, Jamie.
Missouri.
Alright, so we're about to tour the USS Missouri, also known here as the Mighty Mo.
So we're super excited to go check it out. So we're going to bring you along with us. Let's head on to the ship.
As we got ready to board the USS Missouri, I think the three of us were just in awe of this massive battleship. You know, what's interesting is that the Missouri wasn't there the morning of the Pearl Harbor attacks. It wasn't launched till a few years later, but it played a huge role in the ending of the war, the surrender of the Japanese. We were able to get on the ship and go down to some of the lower deck areas. We got to see how the men on that ship lived, where they ate, where they slept. We got to walk through a preset path, see lots of artifacts and images that brought you back to the time of the war. We even got to check out Big Mo's snack shop. Matthew was really digging the Pepsi machine, although they were not open for business. We got to get a close look at the quarters and how tight it was where the men slept there. We'd see some of the other areas where the higher ranking officials were able to spend their time as well. The Whistle Stop coffee station must have been one of the most popular places on the ship for these men back then. Checking out the vegetable prep area, they had a lot of things set up to make you feel like it was still up and running. The Truman line even had a menu listed to give you an idea of what the men were eating on that ship. We saw the Master at Arms office. Reminded that they paid $17 to $77 a month for folks to join the Navy back then. Getting a glimpse at some of the close quarters, and here you go. These are called the Coffin Racks. They're referred to that because this is where the men were just piled one on top of the other, 3 high in very, very close quarters. You really got to know the guy that you were sleeping next to on this ship. And of course, some of the higher ranking officials had a little nicer quarters, a little more room to work with. They even had a dental area on there. They had a dentist on board to take care of things. And you were always reminded that this was a battleship. You saw remnants of the ammunition and how they were able to transport it from lower decks up to the upper levels. The post office was there as well.
Then we got to climb back up, and we were reminded when we got up top, there are some amazing men and women volunteering their time to show you around. We got a chance to see the second in command, the executive officers area, and you can see what a big difference in how that person lived versus the guys living down in the coffin racks, as they called them. Even a personal bathroom here for the executive officer. We got to go up top, climb up a couple different levels, and see what it was like up on the higher decks of the ship.
Well, that was pretty amazing, seeing the lower areas of the ship. And I'm keeping my mask on because there are people around, and it's, you know, federal property here, so they're pretty strict about that. I'm not gonna piss anybody off. One other thing that's pretty awesome here on Ford Island is there's an entire community here that lives here. It's not just a place where these, you know, where this battleship is and the aviation museum is. There's a whole community out here. I mean, on the way in, we saw places that look like small little homes, family homes. We saw little playgrounds for kids. I mean, the whole thing. So there are people that live here full time, maintain, take care of this area, and folks that are in the Navy and in the military that are living here and doing their thing. So we appreciate that a lot, and it's pretty awesome to see on the way in.
The open bridge was an area on one of the upper levels where you really got a glimpse of what was going on. Here you see all the forward-facing guns, and they're kind of protecting the USS Arizona Memorial. Amazing views. There's a little better look at Ford Island and the community that they have there. The conning tower is where the steering and communication was handled. Of course, you had the navigation bridge, and this is where the captain sat. That was an amazing view. You knew the captain would have the best view in the house. And now you get to the surrender deck area where the magic happened on that day. Let Matthew tell you a little bit more about the area there and what had happened.
Over here is the surrender deck where the Japanese and the Allied forces signed the surrender of Japan on September 2nd, 1945 at the end of World War II. Over there is a plaque which represents where the table was where the surrender was signed, and a table where they have replicas of the surrender documents that were signed by representatives from multiple nations during the war.
Of course, you knew the captain's cabin would be the nicest one. It was blocked off. You couldn't go in there. You just had a glimpse, but you could tell there was comfortable living for the captain on board that ship. And finally, a look at the amazing forward guns. You really felt the power of that battleship once you got up there. So after an amazing day, we headed off the ship. We got on an air-conditioned bus, headed back through Ford Island, back over the bridge to the visitor center. We got a little bit of time to kind of gather our thoughts and soak up everything that we just saw and experienced.
All right, guys, so we just left the Pearl Harbor Visitor Center. What an amazing day we had. Matthew, what do you think? Was it fantastic?
It was fantastic.
Did you have a favorite moment? Something cool that you're going to remember always?
I enjoyed touring the Missouri.
The Mighty Mo.
Mighty Mo.
Okay. How about you, Sharon?
I would probably say the Missouri. It was really cool taking the boat over to the USS Arizona, but actually walking around the Missouri was just a really, I think,
what a mind-opening experience. No, you're so right. And going over to the USS Arizona Memorial, I mean, what a moving moment. I've said it before, you know, listen, I myself, I never served. Okay, my dad was in the Army. For whatever reason, it just wasn't something that happened for me as a young man. And looking back, if I knew then what I know now, maybe things would have been different. Matthew can make his own choices down the road. We'll see what happens with him. But the experience is not lost on us. All the amazing men and women who have served, continue to serve. We can do things like this. We can make videos for you guys based on the sacrifices others have made. And we really, really appreciate that. So what an amazing day.
It was. I wish we would have had time to see the Aviation Museum and the Bowfin submarine, but like we were just talking amongst ourselves, it gives us an excuse to come back. We we actually.
Oh, like you need an excuse to come back
I
to
know.
Hawaii. Come
Well,
on.
You can do all 4 of them in a day, probably pretty easily, but we just, I don't know, we just really got caught up in, like, especially the Missouri, the USS Missouri, and we
Yes.
spent so much more time on there than probably
For
most
sure.
people do.
Sure.
And so our day is.
You did it on purpose. You slowed us down on purpose
Yeah.
so we could, so we knew we would come back again,
So
and we
it's-
will.
Yeah, so it's, what is it, about 3-ish? It's later in the afternoon, and they will start closing down soon, so we didn't feel like would have time to go to any of the others today. Plus,
That's right,
we're
that's
pretty
right.
exhausted from our day.
Yes.
And
Luckily,
looking
the
at
sun.
the weather, we're gonna just make it back before that storm hits
Yeah,
again.
we were. Yeah,
So
the
we're
skies
wrapping it
opened up, and we had clear skies today, and so we thank you up above. We appreciate it.
But
And
the
Pearl
flash
Harbor?
flood warning just hit, so
Oh my
we're
gosh.
expecting some more showers here before, probably within the next hour or so. So I think we're just gonna call it a day with Pearl Harbor as far as activities. We're gonna go back to the hotel, shower, clean up, and go grab some dinner.
That's right. So to the men and women who are here at the Pearl Harbor Visitor Center, who are volunteering and taking the time out to help us to understand better everything that's happened and learn a little bit more about the history of Pearl Harbor, we thank you. And until next time, Sharonatsea Travel. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, give us a thumbs up if you're into that, and come back for more travel stuff. We got some more Hawaii coming your way, and all kinds of other goodies in the future. So, Sharon, give me your fancy ending.
Mahalo.